Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. It's my college football history special. And today I'm highlighting one of the best running backs that played on the college level. And his name is Archie Griffin, running back of the Ohio State Buckeyes. So if you like the video this morning, please come in and share it. We'll surely appreciate it here at 100 Yards of Football. Before I start talking about Archie Griffin, I like to do one thing, and I like to really pay homage to Ohio State University, the Ohio State University. Dun 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 dun. Thank you. Now to the Ohio State Buckeyes. To me, this young man, pound for pound, is probably the greatest football player that played in Ohio State football history. I know we've had Troy Smith, Justin Fields, Eddie George. But when you think about Ohio State football from a college standpoint, and you're a young man growing up, and you hear the first thing about Ohio State, you hear the name Archie Griffin. So when I first heard of Archie Griffin, I was in the 7th grade, 12 years old, 1972, a student at Longview Junior High in Memphis, Tennessee, the 901. And the first game I saw Archie Griffin play, even heard about, was a guy that had set a single game record of 239 yards as a true freshman against North Carolina. And I started following this guy's career. And the one thing that really took me out about Archie Griffin, he wasn't your prototype type running back. 6'1", 210, 5'11", 220. He was a guy that was only 5'8", and most of all, maybe 185. But what I loved about him, and I loved about their set, was his hard A+, the ability to run in between the tackles. See, to me, that's what it tells me about you being a running back. Your ability to run in between the tackles. Because you know what? When you got that mindset, you're going to get hit. And back in that day, it was laying wood, thunder. And Archie Griffin was very special. A+ running between the tackles and the power that he possessed. And look what he did in his career at Ohio State. He was the first running back, I believe, to go over 5,000 yards for his career. Man, that's special. 6,000 all-purpose yards. 31 straight games of 100 yards. 4-time Rose Bowl starter. And man, he was something. Then he became the first sophomore in 1973 in 50 years to win the Big Ten most MVP as a sophomore. 50 years. Then he had his best bowl game that year, 149 yards against USC in a 42-21 win over a USC defense that was led by Richard Batman Wood. But this is the thing that I think I'm never going to see. And I thought I'd be able to see this. I'm 61 years old. But now as I get older, I know this is not going to happen. And I want people to really let this sink in your mind. Archie Griffin will be and might be the only 2-time winner to win the Heisman Trophy. That's special, man. 1,600 yards to win it his junior year. Close to 1,400 yards to win it his senior year. Man, this man had a career that's special, man. Then he played with one of the most hard-nosed coaches in all of football, Woody Hayes. And the thing that I take away when I looked up Archie Griffin, I always go by what the head coach has to say about him. Woody Hayes said, pound for pound, he's the best football player I ever had. But most of all, Woody Hayes said this about Archie Griffin. He's the best person I ever had and the best player that I ever had that stood from a leadership position. Think about that. Here's a guy that's won the Heisman back-to-back, 2-time Heisman winner, 31 straight games over 100 yards. Set a single school record his freshman year with 239 yards against North Carolina. And he was your best leader on your team. and your head coach said that he was the best player ever coached at Ohio State. And Woody Hayes is a legend. And for Woody Hayes to say that, that's got to be some love there. In the state of Ohio, they've had some famous people from an entertainment standpoint. The Isley brothers, the Ohio players, Lakeside. But when you mention one more time Ohio State football, the name Archie Griffin comes to the highlights. So I'm sorry, Eddie George. I'm sorry, Troy Smith. I'm sorry, Chris Spielman. I'm sorry, Justin Fields. I'm sorry, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. I'm sorry, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas. When Ohio State football is mentioned, the history, the first two words come up is Archie Griffin. So my final words about Archie Griffin, it comes from one of his homeboys who's out of Dayton, Ohio, by the name of Steve Arrington. You were too bad for a little square town. With your hip-hop hat and your pants on the ground, homeboy. Archie Griffin is a true homeboy to the Ohio State Buckeyes and to the state of Ohio. And he's the one that makes you intrigued about the football program. Look at his history. I don't have to say it no more. One word, two-time Heisman Trophy winner, and that's never going to happen again in the history of college football. So if you like the video today, please comment and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And to the Buckeye Nation, Archie Griffin, you were special, man. And thank you to my producer, Mr. Logan Landers, for making it special today here on 100 Yards of Football.